maybe just like say that quickly, just
Yep.
in case someone's Halliburton. See, they're expecting Netflix's income to surge today. Anybody going in on some Netflixy shares?
Netflixy.
Netflix burned me before, though. I'm not gonna hold you.
I got 3 minutes.
Just make sure your literature thing is fixed.
We supposed to. You want to have it up on one screen, right? So we can see. Oh, so how are we gonna see the chat? That's right. That's right. That's right. So, Ryzen. Oh wait. And what was the other one? RTX. Well,
All right, 2 important events this week could determine the future of Fed rate policy. 2 big economic reports coming up this week could go a long way towards determining at least which way the central bank policy makers could lean. Gross domestic product will be released Thursday at the personal consumption, and the personal consumption expenditures prices reading on inflation is out Friday. It's not about secret meetings or decisions. It's fundamentally about the data that will determine policy. The Chicago Fed president, 𝐷𝐻𝐻𝐽 is quoted for saying, number 2, China weighs stock market rescue package backed by $278 billion package. Chinese authorities are considering a package of measures to stabilize the slumping stock market, according to the people familiar with the matter, after earlier attempts to restore investor confidence fell short and prompted Premier Lang Qing to call for forceful steps. And number 3, Netflix buys rights to WWE's Raw. It's the company's first big live event. The streaming service to air 3 hours of live streaming weekly. Netflix has acquired the exclusive rights to Raw as well as other programming from World Wrestling Entertainment, marking the streaming service's first big move into live events. Raw will air on Netflix in the US, Canada, Latin America, and international markets beginning in January 2025. After expiration of WWE's domestic deal with Comcast Corp, the company will also become the exclusive home outside the US for WWE and specials including SmackDown Raw. Can you see this laptop?
Yeah.
it's blocking me.
Okay. Can you see it now? This laptop?
Down slightly in your bed.
Backward.
All right. Okay, it's about to be 9 o'clock.
What's wrong?
Okay, it's about to be 9 o'clock. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Money Matrix. I am Dion Pouncil.
You have a little echo going real quick. Like that. There we go.
We're live.
Oh. Oh, you were practicing. Go ahead. All right. Good morning. Sorry, I thought we were practicing. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Money Matrix. Another very exciting day in the market. Super excited to be here with you this morning.
Yeah, so we have two major economic news outlays this week that will affect the market. So we'll go into our opening and disclosure. So typically after we do the headline, we go into the All right, welcome back. So, two major announcements in the news this week that all investors and traders should be paying attention to is we have the gross domestic product announcement on Thursday and the personal consumption expenditure prices reading on inflation on Friday. And so these things affect the global markets, they affect investors and they affect traders. So a lot of the market sentiment is paying attention to what the central bank is doing, also known as the Fed, and trying to pay attention if they're going to be doing interest rates cuts this year to help boost the economy. What else are you seeing, Dominique?
Yeah, so as we talked about yesterday, really highlighting that this is a big, big week when it comes to earnings. We had a couple earnings that came out last night. Maybe we can highlight those really quickly. So for yesterday, well, yesterday after the market closed, we had a few major earnings, one of them being Logitech. So Logitech released their earnings. They're actually down about $9.24 a share. And then United Airlines also released their earnings yesterday evening, and they're actually up 6% or about $2.64 a share so far this morning. We could talk about some of the other earnings that have been released this morning, but I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah.
Take it away.
And in global news, the Chinese government is considering a stock market rescue package that will be backed by a $278 billion stimulus into the stock market in China. So if you've been paying attention to anything going on in the global markets and to China, their stock and equity market has been tanking essentially, and now their government is looking to step in and put in this infusion of capital. So some interesting times because China is one of the global market players in general.
Similar to, I guess, a lot of the bailouts that we've had in the U.S., right? Yeah, it is. It's interesting what's going on in China. It's actually a little scary, to be honest, to see that fall. All right, so we've had some earnings that just came in this morning, with the first one being 3M. And I know we were actually talking about 3M yesterday when we were kind of doing analysis. I think one of our listeners/watchers asked if we could take a quick look at it, and 3M did not do really well. Their ticker symbol is MMM, and 3M, their shares tanked this morning after consumer, industrial, and healthcare products company itself provided a 2024 profit outlook that was well below forecast estimates. And so this unfortunately overshadowed their fourth quarter results that actually were better than expectations. And so their shares are down about $8.55, which equates to about 7.92%. So if anyone got into any trades yesterday with 3M, you know, hopefully you were on the put side of that. If so, you're probably smiling. If you were on the opposite side, you know, definitely want to practice some risk management there.
Yeah, absolutely. In the more news of earnings slash announcements, so Netflix had their earning report as well. Netflix announced.
Well, actually, it's this evening.
Okay.
This evening.
Yes, today. So Netflix announced that they are buying the WWE Raw franchise. This is the company's first big investment into live events. And WWE will be streaming 3 nights a week on Netflix starting in 2025 when the WWE deal with Comcast Corp is done. So this is a major news announcement for Netflix in general, obviously as well for WWE being acquired with that deal. But Netflix is now starting to really expand its market share in the streaming world going into live events. And it looks like it's going to be a big battle in the streaming wars even more. And I think this is Netflix's punch to Amazon, because Amazon has made their big move into live through the NFL and having several NFL games live weekly on Amazon Prime. So the streaming wars are heating up.
So is WWE public? You don't get to picture.
I
It is, but
cannot-
maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
Definitely have to do some research on that. Don't know top of hand. I watched WWE a little bit when I was a youngster, but I probably haven't seen one in 15, 20
Yeah,
years. So I can't
same,
say about
same.
that.
It looks like it actually is a publicly traded oh, they might have IPO'd, not sure. Oh, TKO is
Okay.
actually their ticker symbol. So I was asking that because typically when these types of acquisitions happen or these major kind of business moves, it may make the stock go up of the company that's being purchased. And looks like that is actually the case. So based on the news that you just said, World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, their holding company is TKO, ticker symbol TKO. And right, isn't that dope? I love when companies have like those cute little like ticker symbols or whatever. I mean, you know, cute little names. But anyway, so TKO is the ticker symbol, and they are actually up 20% this morning from that announcement of this investment. So they're up $16. So that may be a company to watch. Keep your eyes out on and see how much further it goes. It's currently trading at $93.46.
Yeah, and let's break that down a little bit. You know, she talked about how they're up 20%. And, you know, everything we talk about giving the news and financial news is also data that you can use as an edge to potentially make some money off of the investment or trades. And the strategy that comes to mind when these type of opportunities are announced is called arbitrage, right? And so this could be acquisition arbitrage. So typically when a company makes an announcement of acquiring another public company, the company that's making the acquiring or making the acquisition, their stock tends to go down, and the company who is being acquired, their company stock tends to go up because of the announcement, right? And so with this opportunity, even though it's Netflix earning day, so it would probably wait a little bit on the entry of this arbitrage. But one way to make money off of this information would be potentially to short Netflix and buy TKO, and you would be able to create what's called a pairs trade off of that information and maximize some gains. And even if it's short term, it is a strategy and some insight on how to use news and information as an edge to make an investment or trading decision.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they announced that announcement on the same day of their earnings.
Yeah.
They were actually up $14, and we were actually in Netflix trades yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely exited and took my profits because I was actually concerned that it may fall a little bit today. But Netflix is actually up $14 so far pre-market, and now that they've, I guess, announced this purchase that they're doing, they've actually fallen from being up 14 to only being down 8, which is still great. But yeah, that's as you're mentioning, those things happen. But it is weird timing that both of that's happening on the same day.
All right, so now let's check on the global markets and see what's going on pre-market here. So starting with the futures gives us a little bit of insight of what's going on in the global markets. They seem a little mixed towards the green side. However, the Dow Jones futures are down 0.13%. The S&P 500 futures are up 0.15%. The NASDAQ futures are up 0.23%. Gold is up 0.19%. Silver is up 0.67%, and crude oil is down a negative 2.14%.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and look at our U.S. Markets. So our Dow is up 0.36%. The S&P 500 is up 0.22%, and the NASDAQ is up 0.32%. So we're all up and green across the board so far this morning.
Okay, pre-markets looking green. Now let's go over to the Asian markets. The Asian Dow is up. The Asia Dow is up 0.26%. The Nikkei 225 is down 0.08%. The Hang Seng Index is up 2.63%. The Shanghai Index is up 0.53%. Sensex is down negative 1.47%. And the Singapore Index is down 0.44%. Okay. All right. You want to cover Forex?
I was going to hop over to crypto.
Okay.
Or do you want to do Forex?
Forex. So the euro is down 0.15%. The yen is up 0.04%. The pound is down 0.13%. The Australian dollar is up 0.4%. The DXY index is up 0.05%, and the Wall Street Journal index is flat at 0.00.
0.000.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so going into our crypto markets, let me tell you, this Bitcoin to the moon is not happening, okay? Bitcoin is definitely still here on Earth, okay? It is down another...
Currently.
Yes, currently. I do think it's still gonna go, but it ain't going today. It's actually down another 3%. I know that you were shorting or shorting on Bitcoin yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you're still in that trade, but if so, you're going to be up. So
you got in that, you did very, very well yesterday.
Yes, yes, for any of our Bitcoin traders. So Bitcoin's actually down another 3% this morning, hitting a price of $38,630. $3 a coin. Also, Ethereum is down as well. They're actually down 6.50% and hitting a new price of $2,174. Also, JP Morgan just downgraded Coinbase this well, so I haven't taken a look at Coinbase, but their stock is probably likely falling from that. And then Barron's is also saying that Bitcoin ETFs will disappoint people. And I don't think it will long term, but I think right now, since everyone was kind of running to get in based on like the gold rush or whatever, people are probably a little disappointed because Bitcoin has literally been down since the ETFs went public.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to the point of, one of the market sentiment old saying is, sell the greed and buy the fear. And a lot of people were very, very greedy and bullish on this Bitcoin move around the spot ETF. A lot of people have FOMO because it was around, 20,000 towards going into Q3, Q4 of last year, and now it was at 48,000 on that rise. And so everybody preparing for this big announcement, you could have potentially sold the greed at the top of that and been riding this down from 48,000 all the way now down to 38,000, right?
Yep.
And when people are fearful and the market sentiment is low, those are the times where the markets typically are on sale and you could potentially buy. So just using those insights and that knowledge to be able to understand and make data-driven technical analysis decisions and not just doing something because Johnny on the street told you, right? Okay, so let's now go into our Beat the Bell segment where we will be going through some pre-market analysis on some of our top picks of the day. We'll also be going through what is actually in our money matrix watch list, so we could talk about the stocks, options, futures, crypto, and forex things that we're actually looking at on a daily basis. Keep in mind, there are over 8,000 stocks in the market, right? And so you don't need to invest in or trade to try to do that entire market. You can pick you a quality short watch list of 10 to 20 assets and diversify your portfolio and invest in trading those and change your financial future, okay? Yeah. So we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna hop over here into the charts and we are going to start off with our stock watch list. We're going to go just cover the names on the watch list in general, and then Dominique is going to give you her top 3 picks of stocks for today. Yeah. So
also want to make sure I cover the rest of the earnings for today. They came out this morning too.
Yeah. Okay, so on our stock watch list, we have BlackRock, okay, BlackRock Inc. We have IBM. We have Nancy, which is the ETF that covers all of the Democratic candidates or Democratic Congress men and women on all of their holdings and all of their family. Cruise represents the Republican side and watches all of their investments. We have Twilio Inc. We have Roblox. We have the QQQ, which is a heavily weighted technology index. We have Path, which is an AI company. We have Novo, which is the health sciences. We have NVIDIA, which is AI and chip manufacturing. We have Apple, we have Amazon, we have JP Morgan, we have Lockheed Martin, we have Microsoft, we have Palantir, which is cybersecurity, Riot, which is heavily blockchain based, Tesla for our automotive and tech. We have the SPY for the top 500 companies in the country, and we have the VTI for the global and total stock market ETF. So though out of all of the stocks in the universe, those are the 20 that we primarily focus on here in Money Matrix that we'll go in and out, as well as if you leave any in the comments that you want us to look at live. So Dominique wants to go over some earnings and her picks for today.
Yeah, so going into the rest of the earnings that came out this morning, if you want to just chat about those before the market opens. So we had a few other major earnings that people were really anticipating or excited about this morning. The first one being, we talked about 3M already, also GE. So GE, General Electric, and their ticker symbol is GE, is actually also down $2.23 per share this morning from their earnings. Johnson & Johnson was up just 24 cents from their earnings. RTX is up 4%. Shift here. RTX is up 4% as well. And then Lockheed Martin, which is another one that we have on our watch list, ticker symbol LMT. Their sales did initially beat expectations, and they were up $5.49. And now I think the last time we checked, they've actually fallen, and they are currently down. They're starting high, great. So they were up $5.49, and now they're down $2.46. Originally was down $2.46 pre-market. Now they're only down 60 cents. So that is good to see that they are actually starting to rebound. Okay. Those are all the earnings for this morning. So this afternoon, the biggest one that everyone's keeping their eyes on, which we already talked about, is Netflix, right? Everyone's really excited for Netflix. Netflix is expecting a huge surge this evening. So this is one of the first stocks that I want to take a quick look at for today. So looking at the, let's go ahead and take a start with the week chart. So looking at the week chart, one of the things that you will notice here is this little E, right? Which tells us that today is going to be some big news, that today is the earnings day or the earnings announcement of things that will be coming out. So currently, it's looking like Netflix has some great upside potential. If we look at the week, chart, looking at the one-day chart, we are seeing. Let's put a crossover that can happen here. Looking at the day chart, it's above our VWAP. So it looks like we still have some upside potential. Obviously, this $5 billion deal to stream the WWE is definitely probably affecting the stock just a little bit, because that's a lot of money to spend, right? So people are definitely noticing that this money will be spent, and that typically, as Dion mentioned, always affects the stock. Looking at the 2-hour chart, over here. Let's move this around a little bit. All right. My chart is always overnight. So looking at the 2-hour chart here, looks like we're still having a lot of upside potential for Netflix. As mentioned, they already are up $8.79, and I think that even though they have this big signing deal, it looks like they may still continue to rise today ahead of their earnings. And then taking a quick look at the 5-minute chart, we're seeing literally the same thing. It's sitting around this VWAP, and we'll definitely see how this starts to move as the market opens, and same on the 3-minute and on the 1-minute as well. All right, so that's one quick stock I wanted to look at. Another one that we had, I wanted to take another look at, was Apple. I believe we had just received a buy signal on Apple stock. So as you can see, we're taking a quick look at the 1-minute chart, because that's the chart that we were already on after looking at Netflix. But Apple did just receive a buy signal around 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we do have a buy signal right here that happened at 9, and as you can see, once this buy signal happened, Apple stock has been rising. It's currently up only about 51 cents pre-market, but everything is pointing that it's headed not just for a up open, but it looks like it is going to continue to rise over here as well, looking at the 1 minute chart. And going into the 5 as well. Looks like we're starting that uptrend, also going into the 2 hour chart. As well, we're getting the same sign, and I'll take a quick look at one more. I'll take a quick look at this SPY to see how we're doing over here. So, looking at the 2 hour chart. Right, we're getting some. Actually, we have some potential downside here, but it's approaching. It's currently up 49 cents pre-market. It's approaching. It's sitting right above the VWAP, but everything's kind of saying that it may actually be pointing down. Let's take a quick look at the 1 day chart. As you guys know, it was up yesterday. The 1 day chart is saying that it's pointing up. Let's take a quick look at the 1 minute chart. My charts are all out of whack right now. Let's see. All right. Looking at our 1 minute chart, we did get a buy. Looks like it started to go up a little bit, then it kind of went down. So it's actually looking like things are kind of pointing down for the SPY on the 1 minute, and the 3, and the 5. So it looks like the SPY may start to fall at the open. So let's keep our eyes open and see how that pans out. But it's only up about 40. It's actually starting to fall already. It was up 44 cents a couple seconds ago. Now it's down 41 cents. So we'll see how that goes.
So with that, we're going to take a 1 minute break, and we will be back to look at the futures charts.
For some, I don't understand why you're keep doing this. So this will be no Dion, where's your mic?
You think you put it on this side? Yeah.
I thought you said you didn't want to use it. Well, thank you. No. Thought she didn't. You want to use that like squares. No, these are.
Is it supposed to automatically sync to me? Camera?
Yeah, tell me if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Check.
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 Check again.
Check.
Okay. See if this works.
My mic sound.
You ready?
Are we back on?
And we're back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are going to get ready to look at our futures charts. Okay, we are going to be looking at the NASDAQ, oil, and gold today as the top 3 that I will be looking at. Obviously, if any other ones hit our signals, we will be looking at that as well. So probably the ES, because it seems as though the equities may be coming down off of these all-time highs, and we'll be getting ready to get some money on the sell side for that. So looking at the futures, we're going to start out with the NASDAQ. We know overall for the week was bullish, okay, with that move up there. So if we are into short-term trades, we do know that we are going to be long-term for the week, biased on the bull side, but we are starting to see.
Yeah, perfect.
He gonna do it. So we need to look. We're gonna go on the day chart, and we can see still in the bullish move. Okay, And then we're going to look at the 2-hour. We're starting to see some sell side pressure here as the markets are consolidating, okay? So long term, if you're looking to hold these trades for, I would say 4 hours or longer, I would still be on the bullish side. During this 2-hour session, especially right around the opening bell, we're going to be looking at some sell side opportunities and see what the market tells us, okay? Um, so I will be looking at the 1 hour, the 15-minute, the 5-minute, and the 1 minute for entry opportunities on the NASDAQ. And we can see we starting to get that selling pressure a little bit stronger as it turns down on the shorter time frames, okay? And we can see on the 15-minute chart, we have 2 solid red candles and we got a crossover coming, or it looked like, yeah, crossover to the downside just happened. So that confirms my theory on the sell side pressure. We can see on the 5-minute cross a lot of downside pressure as well. Okay, so we're going to be looking for some quality sell side entries on the NASDAQ. Checking over into the oil, we're going to start out. We know on the week there is a crossover to the buy side. On the day, it also is in a buy side. So longer term, if you're looking for 4-hour or longer on the swing trades, then you would be potentially bullish on the oil. Short term, looking at the 2-hour, also seeing some selling pressure to the downside on the 2-hour and the 1-hour. So again, on the oil, same thing here that it looks like on the NASDAQ. Short term, during this session, we're going to be looking for some sell side entries. Okay, if you're looking for these 2 hours and during this session, we're going to be looking for sell side on the oil. If you're looking for longer on swing trades, you can look for some quality buy entries. All right. And now going over to look at gold. Gold is always interesting in general, but especially with what's going on in the crypto markets, a lot of people flee from gold to, from crypto to gold and gold to crypto because a lot of people call Bitcoin digital gold, right? So it's always interesting to see what's going on with the crypto market and how that relates to gold, all right? So on the week, we got some sell side pressure for the last 3 weeks on gold. On the day chart, we have some buy side looking like it's starting to trend up and a potential cross up. So if you're looking for a swing trade, you could be looking for some quality buy side entries, okay? On the shorter time frame, we will be looking for sell side entries. So we're looking at some sell on gold, NASDAQ, and the oil, and I will also take a quick peek at the S&P 500. Weekly, we're looking buy side. If you're looking for 4 hours or longer swing trades, day trades on the ES, we're looking bullish. On the shorter time frames, it's currently mixed, okay? So we'll keep our eye on the ES just to see because it is at all-time highs. But for gold, NASDAQ, and oil, we're sell-side bias in the shorter time frame. And on the ES, it's mixing. So we will sit back and look what it does as we prepare for the opening bell in 1 minute.
Yeah, and one thing I was taking a quick look at too, as the opening bell is about to ring, was United Airlines. I know I actually had got into some United Airline option trades yesterday doing our earnings play as we were waiting for the earnings to come out for United Airlines. And it's, as we mentioned earlier, they're actually up $2.47 pre-market. So taking a quick look at the chart to see if we are anticipating United Airlines to continue to rise, or if I should go ahead and exit the trade at the market open. So we did just receive a buy signal at 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here. Looks like we may be having a bit of a crossover as we approach this 9:25 bar. What time is it right now? 9:29. So it may hold and see. Looks like I think the market, yeah, we're a few seconds away from it being open. Let me look at the 3-minute chart as well. We also have buy, and then we have okay, looks like it could continue to rise. So if anyone else is in this United Airlines trade, let's take a quick look and see how this does as the market just opened. Ding, 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 ding. All right, so the opening bell has happened.
Yes, and we see some selling pressure coming into the markets immediately. As we talked about. Okay, so There's some strong selling pressure that just came in the futures. Wow, look at that. That we were just talking about being sell side bias around the opening bell, and look at that first candlestick from 17,047. It went down almost 30 points. Okay, shorter time frame here on the 1 minute, looking at and on the other charts we have the 3 minutes and 5 minutes, etc. But just from that initial move from that pre-market analysis, you could have just got a 30-point run out of that. And we can see that the algo literally just got in on the sell side for the NASDAQ and is currently in that trade. So that is our first trade of the day. And literally the algo just went sell side on the NASDAQ. So looking forward to seeing what that move produces. Okay. All right, so that is our first trade of the day. We're sell side on the NASDAQ. Oil is currently in a bull trend, okay? So we only trade when we have signals and we have edges. And so we're going to be looking at different markets and different asset classes today and showing how we can make money in multiple markets with our signals.
Yeah,
okay?
and with United Airlines, really quickly as we discussed, they are actually continuing to trend up. It's approaching $3. It's up $3 a share. So I'm seeing about 86 returns so far in my United Airlines earnings trade that we entered yesterday evening. I can't remember if we entered this trade during the show or not. I can't remember. But yeah, so we're starting. It's continuing to rise. So if you are in this trade, this could be a good time to set your stop loss, to lock in the profits, maybe the 80% or 70%, whatever return that you have based on your entry point. But listen, there's nothing wrong with taking your profits, okay? Just a reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything you do,
nothing
you want
wrong
to be
with that.
Data-driven, right? And so make sure that you have a data-driven reason to get out of the trade. If you had a preset stop loss, a preset profit target, make sure you go ahead and stick to your rules, right? Because we are not traders, we're not investors, we are risk managers, and that is the major key. We could see a strong sell-off here in the NASDAQ. We are up almost $1,000 in this first trade of the day, and that's just at one contract. I know multiple of you trade multiple contracts and load up the boat sometimes. But you know, hopefully it's within your risk parameters. We start to get a little support on this second standard deviation band, which makes sense mathematically. We would see some report there. The order field say that they're still coming through. Okay, I definitely turned it off yesterday. We will see. Okay, so we had the opening bell. We got a sell side signal. We're in the trade. The market began to tank. It pushed through the first standard deviation band. It got some support on the second standard deviation band at 17,430. And we will see if this sell side move continues to push through, and it's trying to push through this to the downside. Okay, so we are up currently. It's going between about 700 and 800. We hit 1,000 at one point in this trade. This is literally our first trade of the day in only one contract. So we will hold this trade until we get a crossover to the upside, or it hits our profit target or stop loss. Okay.
Yes, very good, very good.
All right, so let's go over into some actual potential stock trades. Okay, where we'll look at some different day trades, swing trades, and potential investments. We will be walking down on our stock list. If you have any other stocks or assets that you would like us to look at and do some live analysis, feel free to drop them in the comments, and we will do some live real market analysis. We just crossed $1,000 in this trade, so congratulations if you are in this sell side trade on the NASDAQ. We are flat in oil, and we are flat in gold, and we're also flat in the ES, okay?
Yeah, and I just entered, just FYI, for the United Airlines trade, I had a United Airlines $39 strike price call with the expiration date of February 23rd, which is actually my mom's birthday. So I did set my stop loss. Now, we are still, as you can see, if you guys can see my charts, this is still pushing up, and this is literally kind of saying, like, hey, this United Airlines is going to continue to push. It's literally above the first standard deviation is above the VWAP, so it looks like there's no stopping. I did go ahead and just set a stop loss at 320, so at least that way I can lock in my 85% return, and give it that upside potential. So that's the moves that I just made over here. So if anyone else is in that trade, that is where I set my stop at that 320. But yeah, it is still pushing up. It's pushing up. Let's see.
Okay. So let's go and look at some stock and more option opportunities. We just hit $1,200 of profit on that NASDAQ trade, but it did bounce up strong off that third standard deviation. And let's see what happens. It looks like it's going to get a crossover to the upside, and we may lock in about $500 to $700. We shall see. Okay, so as we look at some trading opportunities in the stock, we're going to look at let's go over here and find. Okay, so Riot is at about $10 a share, which is reasonable for any and everybody to look at, right? So we're going to look at some day trades, and then we're going to also look at some potential investments for Riot, okay? So if I'm looking to day trade, and I'm looking between the 9:30 and 11 a.m. slot, right, just to get in this morning session. If I do the afternoon session, then I'm typically doing 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., which is what we like to call power hour, right? So I'm looking at the 1 hour chart, and we got to cross over to the downside. We also know we're sell side bias on crypto and blockchain, or Bitcoin, which Riot heavily tracks. So I'm looking at a sell side signal right here. We got to cross over on the 1 hour. So now I'm going to go in the 15-minute, and I also see some very strong selling pressure just happened at the opening bell. And so now 5-minute the same. 3-minute the same. And so now what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at the 1-minute chart. You see how I walked my way down from the 1 hour. So now I can actually see on the 1-minute chart, there's some buying pressure coming in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until this buying pressure goes up and we get the next sales signal on the 1-minute chart. When we get the next sales signal on the 1-minute chart, I'm going to enter into a sell side trade on Riot, okay? So I'm going to start preparing my order. Now, Riot is $10 a share. If I did 100 shares, right, we take 100 times the current price, right, which is $10.12, which means I will have to put up $1,000 for this trade, okay? And most stocks move at 1 penny a tick. So that's the tick breakdown for stocks. So I would have to have $1,000 available in this trade. And if I wanted to have $1,000 available in this trade and I only wanted to risk 5%, that would be $50. Okay. So if I wanted to risk $50 in this trade, then I would go ahead and put my stop loss at $50. If I wanted to set a take profit, I would want my take profit at least a 2-to-1. So if I'm risking $50, I would like to make at least $100. Now, personally, I don't like putting take profits on my trade because I want my wins to run for as long as the market is going to pay me, and I will adjust my stop loss or put a trailing stop loss in there to lock in my profits but not minimize them. Okay, so I want to minimize my losses. I don't want to minimize my gains. So I will let Riot run up on this 1-minute chart, and then the next time we get a sales signal on the 1-minute Riot chart, we will come back and I'm going to come back and enter into this sell side trade on Riot. So I'll let this sit here until we get a sale on the 1-minute Riot chart, and we will go from there. Okay. And that is how I would trade that potential signal, breaking down, first of all, identifying if I'm investing or if I'm trading. And then once I decide to trade, the type of trading that I'm doing, which is day trading, and then I'm going to pick my time frame, right? So I'm stepping down in all of my risk management parameters, choosing the asset class, I chose stocks. Choosing the instrument, I chose Riot. Doing my technical analysis, I chose to do trading versus investing so I can actually make some money off of Riot today. Once I decided to do trading, I decided to pick day trading. Once I decided to pick day trading, I looked at the 1 hour chart, and then I got my decision, my directional decision off the 1 hour chart. And then I wanted to go into the shorter time frames to look for some alignment. And then I wanted to find out where the alignment was broken so that I can use that chart to enter into the direction that I wanted to. And so the 1 minute chart was broken from all of the other ones. So now when it get ready to come back on the sell side, they will all be aligned. I will have put myself in a high probability position to make some money off the sell side trade.
Order submitted.
Okay. What do you got going on over there, Dominique, as I wait for this riot sell side
Well,
signal?
I don't even know. Can I talk? I don't even. Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. People saying that they're getting a lot of echo. But as far as United Airlines, they were actually up almost 4.
Okay.
Is it better now?
No, he's gonna
Okay.
mute your mic.
So
So
I think I'm gonna just be silent.
yeah, just come back over here. We will wait on Riot. As we wait on Riot, okay, we can see that we took off $305 of profit in our first trade on that NASDAQ. So we entered here, exited here, and now we're on the buy side for the NASDAQ, okay? And we are now entered into our sell side on the oil. So this is our first trade on oil. We got in on the sell side, and that is our second trade of the day overall, and our first trade of the day on oil, okay? So right now, we are realized $305, okay? And we are now on the buy side of the NASDAQ and the sell side of the oil, okay? So that is our current futures update, and we'll go back over here into the stock market. Okay, so now we're starting to see some selling pressure come into Riot, okay? We now see that the market is starting to hit that VWAP. It's getting some little bit of support on the VWAP, and so now we're waiting for this EMA to cross, this gold line EMA to cross below this white line EMA, and when it crosses below that, we're going to enter into the sell signal. And this is where patience, self-control, and discipline come in. We know we have a very high probability opportunity, but it's no reason to just be clicking buttons if we don't have the signal, right? Because 1 second,
Order
1 minute,
submitted.
1 hour, 1 day could affect your trade if these are short-term opportunities, right? So if we decided to sell and we got here on this candlestick, but we didn't get a confirmation with the crossover, and we decided to sell here at 10.16, well, now Riot is up at 10.25, right? And that's where the patience, self-control, and discipline comes in, that we're not just randomly clicking buttons, right? We want to be very attention to detail oriented with these things. We want to be able to trade on our signals. We want to be able to trade on our edges. And if we don't have an edge, then we're sitting on our hands. We're not trading. We're not investing, because we want to put ourselves in high probability positions to run up the bag, okay? And so we will patiently wait on Riot and see when we get our sell side opportunity. Are we all good over here? All right, here we go. Dominique will give her insights on what she's looking at.
Order submitted.
That's okay, guys. Let me know if the echo comes back.
All right, we just got our sell side signal on Riot, and we just entered the trade. So we seen the signal came in. Literally, we just got the sale, what we've been waiting for. All right, and I'm risking $50 on this trade, and we've already just went profitable. Okay, so again, we also are doing some reasonable amounts so that it can also be relatable and relative to everybody, because everybody is trading at different levels. But use these numbers
Order
to,
submitted.
plan out your own personal risk management, because trading and investment is personal. So we're going to stay in this sell side signal until our stop loss is hit on the $50, or we're going to ride it for as long as it pays us, and we're going to adjust the stop loss to lock in profits every 10%. Okay, so every $10 we go profitable in this trade, we will adjust our stop loss to lock in $10. All right, now we're going to go over to Dominique, because this is our first stock. Nope. Okay, we're going to stay in this trade over here. Ready?
I think I
Okay, all right, we're gonna go over to Dominique
Oh,
and go from there. We're profitable so far. Congratulations.
sorry, I'm like super distracted with the sound. Give me a second, actually, if you don't mind.
Yep. All right, so we are back over here in the futures chart on my side. Okay, let's go in and see if we have anybody in the chat that is looking for any stocks, bonds, options, futures, forex, or crypto you guys want us to look at that you might be actively trading or investing in today that you want us to do some analysis on. Okay. All right, so we closed out that first oil trade for a loss. We were net profitable 330 bucks. We're now net profitable, realized 105 bucks. So we lost about $225 on the oil trade. We're still up net for today. We're realized at 105. We're still in the buy side trade here on the NASDAQ. We can see some consolidation. We got a buy side order that we're in. It came up to the VWAP here and got some resistance. So it has retracted off of the VWAP. All right. And we will see how that corresponds. We are still into that trade. Miss Suzanne said, thank you for the lesson. Yes. And speaking of that, you know, we're trading here live and we're going through these things to actually make money in real time. But if you want to learn what we're doing, you can actually join the Wall Street Academy. You can also join our free Discord community group by clicking the link below or scanning the QR code that'll pop up here shortly. You could join the Money Matrix community with other like-minded individuals, and we have, you know, weekly cash challenges,
Order
Trader of the
submitted.
Week highlights, where we give cash rewards and stuff like that. And we are actually learning and taking the courses that we are releasing that are covering all the asset classes that we are teaching and that we're actually trading here live. So, you know, yes, you can learn it on your own, or you can learn it from people who actually do it and professionals that do this on a daily basis, and then also see that we're actually living and practicing what we're preached by actually doing these things in real time. Okay. And also sticking to the rules and things that we set in those courses. Okay. Okay, so Lisa says, can we look at Upstart? Do you have the specific ticker? You got it?
Yeah, I have
All
to
right.
put it up.
So Dominique will do some analysis on Upstart. Lisa, are you looking to trade or invest Upstart? And that will help us kind of narrow down the analysis.
She's probably looking at trade. It looks like they have earnings today.
Yeah, looks like they have earnings already.
They have earnings today. I think it might be coming out today after the closing bell. I believe so, to trade. Okay. So taking a look right now, let's go ahead and start with the day chart for Upstart. Please let us know if you're having if there's any additional issues with the audio as well. Okay. All right. So taking a quick look at Upstart for the day, Upstart is currently looks like it's currently down 21 cents today, or 16 cents. It just moved a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. So looking at the day chart, we do see some upside potential here. It's literally just sitting at the VWAP, and it looks like it is headed north. Let's take a quick look at the 2-hour chart.
Looks like on the 2-hour chart, we're kind of getting the same thing here. Like there is some upside potential. Let's go a little bit deeper to the 5-minute. All right, looking at the 5-minute chart, we also have some upside potential. Move this over. Yep. So it's kind of went down slightly, and maybe this is from the earnings only down about 25 cents. It looks like whatever maybe the news is coming out or the anticipation of this news, it looks like it is actually trending upward. So this is actually a good time to, if you are bullish on
Upstart in general, this could
potentially
be a good time
to potentially get in and start to ride that wave. But it did just turn around in this time that I was talking. Now it's actually up 8 cents a share. Let's take a look at the 1-minute chart. It's like we had a little bit of a sell signal that came through at 9:45. That's just on the 1 minute chart. I think that was that little bit of downturn that we just saw. But it looks like over time throughout the day, Upstart will be heading up. So that's what we just did. We just get a sell signal on 5 minute. Let's take a look at 2 hour now. Let's see. Very interesting. Okay. Pushing down. Okay. So it looks like over the next couple of hours we might be seeing it go down, but it looks like over time, over the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing it go up. What time did they release their earnings? Let me see, because I'm not sure there. Let me take a quick look at that.
Okay. While she takes a good look at that, our buy-side NASDAQ trade is now going strongly profitable. We've crossed over to VWAP. We're up $200 in this trade. And we've also entered our first trade of the day on the ES. We've now got a buy signal, and we're buy-side on the ES as well. So in these 2 trades, we are currently profitable, and we're up about $375. Okay, so again, sticking to our rules, sticking to our risk management, we minimized our loss on oil, got out of that trade, and now we're up almost $500 net profitable from our first couple of trades of the day. All right, and so looking at that, let's go also look at our Riot trade. Our Riot trade, we're up 14 bucks, right? So we waited, did our homework. We did our homework, we waited, and we got our sell signal, and now we're literally up 16 bucks. So if you did 100 shares, right, you up $1 a share, and so it's down 14 cents, and so we're up $14 on the sales side. And you can see this is also living proof that you can make money whether the market is going up or down. So we've made money on the downside of the NASDAQ already, closed out of that trade. We're making money on the upside of the NASDAQ right now. It just crossed over $330 of profit. And we're now also making money on the sales side of Riot. Now, let's also break it down on another way that we can make money off of this trade, right? So we see Riot is short on the 1 hour. Let's go to the 2 hour. So we see Riot is also getting ready to transition into a sales signal on the 2 hour. So now I can start saying, let's look at some options, okay? So now I can say, hey, you know what? I see that the shorter time frames are trending down. The 1 hour is trending down. The 2 hour is about to cross over. So at 10 o'clock in 7 minutes, I could be looking at getting into a put on Riot. And that's another way that I can make some money off of the same asset, on this off of the same signal, okay? So now in Riot at 10 o'clock, if I get a sales signal on the 2 hour trade, then I will be looking at an expiration as early as next Friday, right, to give myself some time for this move. And I would be going to look at an expiration on next Friday. I would maybe look at some at the money puts, all right, and look to capitalize on some Riot downturn. Okay, so that's 2 ways I can make money off of this signal from Riot. I can take some day trades on the stock, which I'm doing right now. I'm up 16 bucks. If you did 1,000 shares, you would be up 160 bucks. If you did 10,000 shares, you would be up, 1,060 bucks. Trading and investing is personal, but understanding these basic principles go across the entire market. Off of Riot. You got some news on Upstart,
Yes,
Dominique?
so I was able to do a little bit more research on Upstart. So Upstart, and it's interesting because I saw someone put in the chat that it shows February 13th as their earnings date, but it's interesting because I also just saw on a bunch of charts that says their earnings is today after the close. So that's always a little confusing. But it looks like, as we talked about, Upstart's been kind of battling a little bit back and forth here. It's currently down about 5 cents a share, and it looks like it's gonna maybe
Continue
continue
to
to
fall
fall
a little bit over the next couple of hours, but it looks like based on this earnings that's coming up, it's supposed to be trending upwards with this earnings. They've done pretty well based off of their last earnings. They have been seeing their income increase
quarter over quarter. So it looks like we may have
some upside. I would say that the only thing a lot of times with these companies that are lenders or companies that make most of their money through lending, right? Obviously, with interest rates being high, they are going to see higher revenue. Why? Because interest rates are high. We're paying more to borrow money. But unfortunately, sometimes those lenders also start to see more defaults. Right? So those are the things that we're kind of thinking about as we're considering Upstart or any other company that literally makes the bulk of their money from lending. But it looks like there's some upside potential. But right now, it's teetering around going up 5 cents and being down about 15, 16 cents. But on the day chart right here, it looks like there's strong upside. Like we may even have a slight drop from the earnings potentially, but either way, it looks like we just had a nice little crossover yesterday. Upstart is sitting right at this VWAP, and it looks like it's poised to rise.
Okay,
So
nice.
yeah.
Glad to see. All right, we just crossed $400 in our NASDAQ futures trade on the buy side, and we're up about $50 on the ES buy side trade as well. So the current positions that we're holding right now is we're long the NASDAQ. This will be our second trade on the NASDAQ. We won about $330 on the first NASDAQ trade on the sell side, and we are now up on the buy side, up $400 as well. So congratulations if you are in that trade. On the ES, we are up. It's battling at this second standard deviation. It's getting some resistance at 48.86. All right. So that is the second standard. That's the first standard deviation for the 3-minute. So there is a strong resistance area right there for the ES. We will see if they're able to push through that 48.86. And we knew that the ES was mixed today based on it being at the all-time high. So you're going to have some big bears in there coming in and try to sell it off of that all-time high. So we'll keep an eye on the ES. On the NASDAQ, we also see some selling pressure just came in. But we're starting to get some support because that EMA at 17,472 is showing some support for there. And we'll see if we continue to push it up. But net, we're overall up $500 from these couple of trades in the ES already. The market's only been up, open 27 minutes. So shout out to you guys if you're any of these trades.
Yeah, and if anyone else is still in the United Airlines trade, United Airlines they started to go down. So I would say personally, I would take those profits, or maybe ride down. Everything is pointing that it will start to lose a lot of the gains they had at the open. So hopefully you had your stop losses set. I know my stop loss did trigger, I think around $3.95 per share. I have to take another quick look at that. But yes, United Airlines, for any of you guys that are in that trade with us, it is starting to lose a lot of the gains that it had this morning from the earnings.
Okay. So now as we approach the 10 o'clock
Order
hour,
submitted.
what we're going to do is we're going to go to our stock watch list. We're going to go to the 1 hour chart, and we're going to look to see if we have any potential signals to get into some day trades. Okay. So the 1 hour for BlackRock is in a strong sales signal. It's already there. So we'll let that rock. All right. IBM on the 1 hour is in a strong buy signal. They are getting some resistance here at the 173, but things still seem to be trending up. Nancy, the ETF that follows the Democratic, they have some resistance here at 31. All right, so maybe get a sell signal here. We'll keep our eye on Nancy. Cruise just got a buy signal. Okay, so we could potentially come in here and do a buy. So we'll add Cruise to the buy short list. Okay. Twilio. All right. Seems to be in a buy signal here. We'll come back to that. Roblox is in a buy. Okay. The Qs may be getting some sell side pressure here, which makes sense because the NASDAQ futures are also showing a potential down move over the longer term for the day. So we'll keep our eye on the Qs for a potential sales signal. Let's actually 10 o'clock just
Order
happened.
submitted.
No signal. Okay, so we'll keep our eye on the Qs 1 hour chart for some sell side entries for today if you're looking to day trade. If you're looking to day trade the stock,
Order
directionally,
submitted.
I make my decision off the 1 hour for stock. If I'm looking for shorter term options, you know, in 7 days or less, I'm looking at the 2 hour. Okay. Novo, no signal. NVIDIA, no signal. Apple. And when I say signal, everybody, these are custom algorithms that I have created that has a lot of different things in there, but we've simplified it so that when the parameters are met, it just generates a buy or a sell signal, and you can get in there with a high probability of success and manage your trade. All right, sell signal came in on Amazon, but that was a couple of days ago. So we'll keep our eye on that. JP Morgan, also in a sale. Lockheed Martin. So no new fresh signals so far outside of Cruise. So that may be our only one. Cruise and Riot. Yeah, Cruise and Riot.
We don't have a it's interesting. There's not a lot of
Signals coming through right now. But I will say for NVIDIA, we don't have a signal. It does seem to be turning around. It was down about $3 at the market open. And now it's only down about
Order submitted.
$1.35. So it is starting to turn around. Also looking at the 1 minute and the 3 minute and the 5 minute charts, it is all pointing up. It did just cross its
the first standard deviation band.
so it looks like it's actually headed up.
And it's going to start reducing a lot of the losses that it had so far for the day. And as you guys know, we talk about NVIDIA all the time. It's literally the stock that goes like this all day long. You could literally sit and just ride the roller coaster that it has every day, and it is starting to it's like it's starting to turn around a little bit here. Let me take a look at the 2 hour chart. See, the 2 hour
Chart is still giving some downside. It looks like it may continue to kind of do this roller coaster that you see it has done, right? Literally over the past few hours, going, you know, up as high as 601. That was going up as high as $600.08, and now being on the lower side at $594.61. So NVIDIA is continuing to rise. It looks like it may start to rise a little bit and reduce some of the losses that it had earlier, which it's literally doing right now.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So feel free to drop any stocks
Order
or
submitted.
any assets that you would like us to do some real-time analysis on. All right, so we just entered into the sell side on the NASDAQ, and now we're back in oil on the sell side, and we're now flat on the ES. So we minimized, the ES was downturning, minimized that loss, and now we're flat on the ES. We're selling oil, and we are selling the NASDAQ. Okay, so those are our current future trades.
Get a sell signal on Lockheed Martin.
So we do have the sell signal Lockheed Martin that came through at 9:45, so about 15 minutes ago, looking at the 5 chart. As you can see here, once that sell signal came through at 9:45, it continues to fall. So Lockheed Martin is now down $6.76. They did release their
earnings this morning.
So they started the morning off down, but it has fallen
more since then. That's based on the 5 minute chart. Excuse me. So that is one signal that just came through, and it looks like it may continue to fall, or at least hold those losses that it currently has. Look at this 2 hour chart. That thing just like totally just came right right on down here. So it looks like Lockheed Martin may continue to fall a little bit.
For the day, like I said, we did just get a sell signal at 9:45.
Okay. So now that we're at the top of the hour, let's go back and cover some news. Okay. So with that being said, we know it's earnings seasons, and a couple of earnings that are making some moves and some announcements today. Earnings watch: Procter & Gamble earnings boosted by latest round of product price increases, right? So cool, quick story about Procter & Gamble. If any of you guys, so we were in Chicago for Christmas visiting my grandmother, And she told me that she has watched General Hospital every day for the last 40 years, right? Soap operas. And so the reason I bring that up is the story behind soap operas is Procter and Gamble. The dad, the son, one son was Procter and the son-in-law was Gamble. And the dad sat them down and said, hey, if you come into this family, we're entrepreneurs, so you guys are gonna have to create a business together. So they created a soap company. Okay, but they were really good at marketing and they wanted to sell the story instead of the product. So instead of just selling soap and trying to go door to door, they went to the local radio station and they wanted to sponsor the radio station to do advertising and marketing for their soap company. And the radio station, the music of the day was opera back then that they used to play on the radio station. And so that's where the term soap opera comes from because of the marketing from Procter and Gamble of their soap product and the music of the radio station of the opera. And so Procter and Gamble did millions and millions of dollars, and then they actually started investing into television and came up with the actual soap operas of today, and they put all of their products into the soap opera television shows and on the radio stations, and that's where we get soap operas from. So Procter and Gamble has been around for decades, and they've been running the consumer product goods market. And so that was just a quick tidbit as they talk about their earnings was lifted after price hikes across the business segment. So Procter and Gamble raised their prices over Q4 on a lot of their products, which is typical when people going into the holiday seasons and stuff like that. And because of that, they made a substantial amount of gains and they have exceeded their numbers and their earnings are looking to be poised up from that news.
Yeah, very interesting. I was wondering where you were going with the
Yeah, just
soap opera and the Procter Gamble. I totally agree with
tie it all in. Yeah, yeah. So very, very, very cool tidbit. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out. All right, Nita.
Trade, right?
Yeah, we'll check out Riot, and Nita asked for Tesla. Okay, so we will check out Tesla as well. Let's go check out on our Riot trade first to see where we're at. Okay, so we turned around a little bit, down 17 bucks. We're okay with that because our stop loss is already set right here. Excuse me, at 50 bucks. Okay, and we will let that trade manage itself. Because our stop loss is already preset, it will get out for us automatically. So we are perfectly fine to let that trade do what it's gonna do, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and check out Tesla for Nita. Nita wants Tesla. Nita, are you looking to invest or trade Tesla? And that will help me kind of walk through the analysis.
Trading, I know Nita.
Oh, Nita?
Trading.
Nita, you trading? Okay. So let's look at some trading. All right, so if she's trading, let's look at some stock trading and let's look at some options trading for Tesla. All right, so if I'm looking at Tesla, let's just say I just did a day trade analysis. Now let's do a swing trade analysis. So if I'm looking to swing trade Tesla, first I'm going to start on the day chart, okay? And I can see that on the one-day chart, Tesla has been trending down since December 29th. So a pretty strong downtrend. I can also see it's got some quality support at 212. So that downtrend started at 257 and it's down at 212. And we see some strong support at 212. So that's one thing I want to keep in mind as I look at what the potential moves would be. Okay. Then I'm going to go down into the 2 hour, right? And I can see the 2 hour confirms what I just seen on the day chart of some buying pressure coming into the market and some strong support
Order submitted
here around that 212. It shows that the support really was around 207. Okay. So if I'm looking to make some swing trade options off of this, I would be looking for this 2 hour signal to turn into a buy. And then I would go ahead and look for a call option with an expiration for 7 to 30 days out. All right. And to buy a call at the money. Okay. And that's what I would be looking to do on this 2 hour. Right. And if I wanted to do a little bit more risk management, I could wait a couple more days and wait for the day signal to also confirm that and look for some alignment. Okay. And so that's what I would be looking to do on a swing trade. If I was looking to trade options for
Order
Tesla,
submitted.
I would make my decision based off the 2 hour and or 1 day. and it's confirming that there is some support coming in here for a potential buy of a call. Okay.
Yep. And they also, Tesla also just received from Wedbush Securities, they actually just received an increase in their price target to 350. So that also may be what's driving a little bit of the rise in Tesla today. But yeah, as you said, it looks like there's some good upside potential for Tesla over the next couple of days here.
Nice. So that gives us a third opportunity. So if she's saying that a good analysis just came out and increasing their price target for Tesla to 330, if I'm looking at 350, if I'm looking at bigger picture long term, then investing into Tesla, this will be a potential good opportunity for an investment, right? So if I want to look at an investment, I can go and look at the 1 week and the 1 month, and it's literally right around the VWAP on the 1 month. So this is a good high probability opportunity to get into Tesla for the longer term if I'm looking at investing. So if I'm looking at investing, we're right around the VWAP. And if I believe that Tesla is going to, let's turn on the VWAP here and let's look for ourselves. Okay, so the VWAP here for Tesla on the 1 week chart is right at $215, right? And so we're under the VWAP currently, so I can see that from a long-term perspective, this is a good buy and hold entry opportunity if I was just starting to get into Tesla, okay? So that's one way we can make money off the long term for Tesla. If I'm looking for swing trading, we just identified that it was a good opportunity on the buy side.
Orders.
It just crossed up on the 2 hour above the EMAs just had a cross. So I would be looking to buy Tesla options. And if I'm looking to day trade, I can see the 1 hour is also starting to get some support and a strong bounce off that second standard deviation on the VWAP, right? So all of these are showing some good swing trade opportunities for entry on Tesla. So let's go ahead and put in a buy order on Tesla. This is what we're going to do. Trading, investing is personal. Okay. And let's just say I wanted to buy 100 shares of Tesla for a swing trade. Okay. And I am going to set my risk at 5%. So if I am doing 100 shares times $200, right? At 212, I need about $21,000 of equity, of $21,000 of the word that I'm looking for, collateral in there, and then I would multiply that by 5%. That's $1,060. So the most I would risk on here is $1,060. That would be my 5% of risk, okay? And I would buy that, and now we're entered into the Tesla
Order
trade.
submitted.
And because I'm looking for this as a swing trade, all right, I'm looking to hold it at my stop loss, which is $1,000, and I'm looking to ride the ride for as long as it pays me, and I will adjust my stop loss every 10% of profit to lock it in. So let's just say it goes 10% in my favor, right? If I just risk $2,000, 10% of that is $200. So every $200 of profit, I could potentially adjust my
Order
stop loss. So the
submitted.
first $200, I would move my stop loss to my break even where I got in so that I cannot lose any money on this trade. And then once I reach $400 of profit in this trade, I would put my stop loss at $200, locking in that $200 of profit, and I will continue to ride the ride. So today we've put in our swing trade on Tesla, risking up to $1,000, and we put a day trade in on Riot, risking up to $50, okay? And we would get puts on Riot for 7 days, and we would get calls on Tesla for 30 days. And we would get investing, we would buy Tesla. So that's 5 trade opportunities out of these 2 stocks with those entry points.
I'm not sure if my mic is good or not, but we also are seeing some
buying pressure for the SPY specifically.
Order submitted.
It just is approaching its second standard deviation band. I was doing a
Order
trade on them. I should
submitted.
have $135,000 on this trade that I've been in for I think a week now. But yeah, we're seeing some good upside potential. It's like but no, it's like it's actually starting to rise, and we're seeing like a lot of upside potential for the SPY on the 1 minute, the 3 minute, and the 5 minute chart as well. So it looks like we may start to see the S&P 500 or the SPY start to rise.
Order submitted.
Okay. Great. All right, so let's look at the chat and see if we have some other. Natalie said that's a cool piece of information. Yeah, that Procter and Gamble story always is interesting. Okay, Nia says she wants to trade Tesla. She's laughing at you when you said I know Nia. Okay, Nita. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes. And so everybody, Miss Suzanne said the knowledge is powerful for the wealthy. Yes, absolutely. Right. Data has surpassed oil last year as the number one most valuable asset on the planet. Right. Now you could go into quantum computing, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But from a data standpoint, the numbers and statistics show that data is now more valuable than oil, right? And that literally goes into saying knowledge is power and how you can use knowledge and information to literally make money, right? And so those are powerful things to know and to understand. And so now more of you are coming in, you're watching, you're taking the courses, you're learning, and you're seeing how you could take information from an everyday conversation from a family or friend or a TV show, and you can go in, do some technical analysis, and make some money off of some information that you just got. Yeah. Right? Tidbit, for an example, Costco. Costco announced that they sold over $100 million of gold bars last year, right? $100 million of like actual physical gold bars. And that's because the sentiment of the US dollar is a little on the weak side.
Know that you can even buy gold bars at Costco? I didn't know that.
I didn't know until they made that announcement, but it definitely makes sense.
Let's go membership.
It definitely makes sense because gold is gold, right? It's a physical asset. It's a physical thing. And when people are thinking about, the U.S. dollar getting weak or crypto getting weak or strong, et cetera, people always kind of result back to gold. Now, everything that you buy or trade, you're literally agreeing that whatever the person is selling it to you at that price, you believe that it's valuable enough for you to trade your time, energy, effort, resources, or money for that thing, right? The US dollar just makes it, or a dollar or a coin, just makes it an easier medium of exchange, right? But that's really what you're doing. You're exchanging something that you believe is valuable for something that they believe is valuable, and you guys are meeting in the middle at a price. And so gold for the longest term has been a medium of exchange, right? And then you got the coins, and then you got the dollars, and then now you got the digital currency, right? So I brought up the Costco gold thing is because when Costco made that announcement of that $100 million increase on their earnings from just specifically gold bars, their actual stock price shot up from that announcement, right? So look at how an announcement of how their earnings went up from selling one product caused their stock price to go up, and people use that information to make money.
Literally.
All right.
Abu had a really good question.
Okay. He said, "This is really good. Love this. Go ahead."
Cute. So he said, I know we're making
all-time highs.
S&P. How are you trading all-time high stocks? Very good question.
Yes. So let's dive into the SPY. Good call out, SPY. Good call out, SPY. Good call out, Abu. Let's go into the SPY. Okay. So what he's talking about is all-time highs, right? So let's start there first with the question. Okay. And if we look at the SPY, we're on the 1 month chart, and we can scroll back all the way to when the SPY actually started, right? And we can see that
you went far.
Yeah. So around January 1993 is when the actual SPY ETF came out. So almost 30 years. we can see that longer term, the SPY has trended up, and it went public around $41 or so. And we can see now it's at $476, and it is the highest that it has ever went, ever. So when somebody says an all-time high, that's literally what it's saying and what it's meaning, right? So that's the first thing. So that everybody understands when he's asking a question about what is an all-time high, how would you trade all-time highs, okay? So that's the first thing. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can look at this. If you're looking to invest, you can look at the history of this and say, hey, man, this is a quality stock or investment. It has shown and proven that for the last 30 years, it has been moving up to the right and people have been making profit. But you can also see there are some dips, right? It hasn't always been green. There's some red dips in here for a couple of months or a couple of years, and then it bounces back. So this is why buy and hold has always shown over time to be profitable, okay? So that's first and foremost. Second, he asked specifically, how would you trade this? So now we come back into the shorter time frames. So if you're looking to trade this off of options and you say, hey, okay, this could be an opportunity to potentially make some short-term profit off of maybe a sell signal here, but we need to go in and see if we got a sell signal. So on the 1 week chart, we're still showing a strong bullish move with this crossover of the EMA, both crossed over to the upside, and it crossed over the VWAP to the upside, okay? So it's still showing a strong bullish trend, all right? So if you're looking for options, you could potentially trade some leaps here and buy some call option leaps, okay? If you're looking for some shorter term retracement, you could then go down into the 1 day chart, and we see here still some strong bullish trends. So for a swing trade, you're still looking bullish. If you're looking for some day trades, I know Abu likes 0 DTEs, right? So if I'm looking on some 0 DTEs, I'm looking at the 15-minute and the 1 hour. If I'm looking at some 1 DTEs, I'm looking at 1 hour to 2 hour. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what DTEs are, they're days to expiration. So if you're trading an option, when you go to trade that option, it tells you how many days that option has to expiration. Okay, so in our Wall Street Academy course, we teach day trading options, and we teach actually 0 DTE and 1 DTE strategy. So you can join the Wall Street Academy and learn from us. You can join the Discord, and we talk about those. So I do see some sell side pressure coming in here as a resistance on the 1 hour chart. So what I would do, Abu, is I would patiently wait for a sell signal on the 1 hour chart via the EMA crossing over to the downside, or the sell signals from our algos. So if I'm looking at 0 DTE or 1 DTE options, and I'm looking to capture some short-term retracement off these all-time highs, I would be looking at some at-the-money puts when I get this crossover confirmation, okay? If I am looking for even shorter term, I can look at the 15-minute, and we can see it's currently in a sell signal, and it's battling and showing quality resistance here in this low 480s, okay? So I can start to look at sell side opportunities on the short term. I would wait for a confirmation here on the 1 hour. I am in a sell signal on the 15-minute. So if I am looking for 0 DTE, okay, I am looking on the 15-minute and the 1 hour to get in and out maybe today and or tomorrow on the sell side. And we do see some selling pressure coming in here. And it is right at that VWAP, and we will be looking for a crossover to the downside. All right. And if I'm looking to day trade this, I'm looking at the 15-minute and the 1 hour as well. And then I would be stepping down to the 5-minute. Literally, we just got a sell signal on the 5-minute. So if my 0 DTE entry, if I wanted to enter now, I can go in and get me an at-the-money put and look on the 5-minute chart and the 15-minute chart and look to ride that down. And then what I would do specifically is open up my VWAP and look for some areas of some specific support and resistance, okay? So, Abu, what I would do is I would enter in on this sell signal here now at 1025, which would be the new 5-minute mark. And I will actually take this trade on the sell side on the stock as well, right? So if it's $483 a share, and let's say I did 10 units, right? That would be $4,830, okay? And
Order
I would like to
submitted.
risk, let's say, 500 bucks. I would enter into this sale now on this trade. And now we're on the sale side on the SPY. And so I would be looking to sell this as a stock to get in and have my stop loss set for risk only about 500 bucks. And I would be looking and monitoring the charts. Now, we are at the third standard deviation on the 5-minute, but on the 15-minute, we are only at the second standard deviation as we push through there, okay? And on the 1 hour, we're right around the VWAP. So some good selling side indicators here for a short-term trade on the S&P 500. So I can do that as a short-term day trade on the stock. As we see here, it's battling. I could also do a short-term 0 DTE, 1 DTE, or 7 DTE put, okay? Or on the longer time frame, I can look to invest, buy and hold at this quality area over time, 5-year, 10-year hold. And in the history and the data has supported those approaches, okay? So to clarify what I just went over, so everybody understands, Abu asked, how would we trade this all-time high? From a short-term perspective, we can look to capture some gains on the downside between the hourly and the daily chart. Long term, we're bullish anyway. We can use this as a quality entry of a dollar cost averaging or a buy and hold over time, looking for 5 to 10 years for an investment, okay? Hopefully that answers your question, Abu. Okay. All right, he said that was really helpful. The difference between trading it via long term and short term with the options provided good direction for me.
Submitted.
All right, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, Abu. Okay, Vanessa said, I need to get my chart set up like yours. I have out an algo. These algos are bomb. Yes, she said hashtag Wall Street Academy. Glad to see it. I know Vanessa's a newbie in the Wall Street Academy. So glad to see that you are making forward progress on that. Okay, so going back into the futures, we're up $250 on the sell side on this NASDAQ. Okay, we got down to about $400. It bounced off of this standard deviation here, the second standard deviation under the VWAP. And so it's starting to come back a little bit, but we're up 275 in this trade, and we also just entered the sell side on the ES futures. So that's very interesting to see because, and the algo just entered the sell side on oil as well. So very interesting to see because we just did that analysis looking at the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1 hour on selling the SPY, which is the S&P 500 stock, and the ES is the future, which is a derivative that's based off of the SPY stock. So we can see how these things are correlated and how you can make money off of both of these different asset classes, okay? So some good buying pressure coming into the market here on the NASDAQ. Turn that trade around and let's see how it responds, okay? If you did get into that trade, you could have captured your profit and exited at that second standard deviation. So one of the things I want you guys to notice, because our algorithms are trading for us automatically, but we're doing the analysis with and for you as if you're manually trading.
Order
When you see
submitted.
these trades go profitable, these, that was $500, right? So that was what, 100 ticks or so? If you're going to at a 100 tick trade and you see it reach one of these standard deviation, that is a data-driven reason for you to potentially get out if you want to take your profits in those trades. Now, for us, we let the algos, let me speak for myself. I let the algos trade how the algos trade because over time, and the back testing that we've done is over years, and it shows over time that these trades finish profitable, et cetera, et cetera. But if my risk parameters and your risk parameters are different. So if you see these trades and you're in these trades and you see data-driven reasons to get out, by all means, go ahead. But do not allow it to be emotional, right? You don't want to get out because you're scared or I'm way too profitable, it might turn around on me, or I'm losing too much. If you have a predefined stop loss and some predefined profit targets, use that as data to get out of the trade. If you're not using data to get out of the trade, you're using your emotions, and we don't want that for you, okay? Because if you're using your emotions, you're gambling.
Only data-driven decisions.
Only data-driven decisions.
Out of it when you're trading.
Yes, yes. So what did you looking at on the stocks or options over there, Dominique?
Seeing if there's any other
strong signals. I haven't really seen
much, honestly. I feel like everything's kind of in a bit of a lull right now. Also, Miss Suzanne, I saw your question. Don't worry, we're actually gonna be giving you access. So just stand by next couple days. I'll be giving you access to Wall Street Academy. But yeah, right now I'm actually not seeing tons of movement. No strong signals going through
the list here. I'm kind of keeping my eyes on Netflix. I would say that's probably the biggest trade I'm looking to get into today. As ahead of the earnings and kind of seeing how it is moving today, because they are anticipating a lot of revenue growth. Going back to the chart here, take a quick. Oh, I have Netflix open now. I don't have it open. Yeah, looking at the 5-minute chart, looks like we have some upside potential here. But looking at the day, we're kind of seeing the same thing. So really interested to see how Netflix is going to move, because Netflix is one of those weird things. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much revenue and all these things, and it will definitely just like completely fall on you. So just be really careful, especially with these earnings that you guys can see. Even like Lockheed Martin was like, oh, the earnings have been great. All the technicals are even saying that,
hey, it should go up, and they'll say, oh, but our outlook
Order submitted.
next quarter is bleak, and it starts to fall. So definitely going to keep looking at Netflix, and I would say if any of you guys are considering getting into Netflix, the earnings does come out today after the close. You definitely want to make sure that you're also looking at those charts towards the end of the day. Obviously, we won't be live, but looking at those charts as well towards the end of the day to see how it begins
to move here. But I'm not seeing a lot of major things happening right now.
Okay. All right. So Kev on the chart said he got a nice scalp on that sell side of the NASDAQ 100. Glad to hear it, Kev. Glad to hear it. Okay, so let's go ahead and check back into some of our trades over here on the stock side. So we were in Riot. We're coming back down. So we were up $17, then we went down $17, and now we're down 15. So it's starting to get some.
It doesn't do a lot of.
It's not as volatile. Yeah, so that's actually a great call out. One of the things I wanted to talk about. So one of the most volatile stocks on here. So when we talk about volatile or volatility, there's a lot of volume, meaning there's a lot of trading going on, and the volatility is sprouted out from the volume between the buyers and the sellers battling on what they think is going to happen on that particular asset class, right? So she called out that there's not a lot of volatility on Riot, so it's moving relatively slow, right? But as far as stocks on our watch list that may be volatile, health sciences and pharmaceuticals typically usually have a lot of volatility. So Novo may see a lot of action. NVIDIA, definitely, if you want to day trade the stock on NVIDIA, definitely has a lot of action. So let's look at NVIDIA for some potential stock trade opportunities. I know Dominique loves NVIDIA in general, but she also likes to do more options trade on it. So let's look at
order submitted,
some stock trade opportunities on NVIDIA. So, of course, we're going to start with our longer time frames. We can see the 1 week super green candlestick, 1 day super green trend, right? Okay, and then let's now look at the shorter time frames. So 2 hour, we're starting to see some selling pressure. We got a crossover of the EMA crossing right on that VWAP and looking across down. So that would be interesting for a potential short-term put option on there if we were to get a sales signal on NVIDIA. So we can see that charge up. Look at that buy signal from the algo triggered at $477 on the 2 hour. If you'd have gotten that option call based off of the algo. Congratulations, because from that call, NVIDIA was at 478 and is now at $593. So this is the 2 hour.
2 hour?
Yeah. So we usually use the 2 hour for the 2 hour and the 1 day and the 1 week for our call, for our option entries. Okay. Looking for that alignment. And so now as I look to day trade, I can also see on the 2 hour that we just got a crossover to the downside, that the EMA just crossed below the VWAP and is approaching that EMA. So this confirms that I said it might be an opportunity for some sales side trading on NVIDIA.
This would definitely be a very
Short. Yes. This would be day trading.
all the other charts, the day.
Longer term, yep.
So it seems like for this NVIDIA trade, if you were to get into a put opportunity or some sort of downside opportunity, you would want to enter like now.
Yeah.
Right? And really get in, ride that wave. And as soon as you get that buy, go ahead and get out. And that literally could be in the next couple of hours. But
Absolutely.
as he said, because NVIDIA is so volatile, you could literally go and see this stock fall. As you can see, even since we've been talking, you know, I think it was around down $2.50. It just already went down to the $3. It can go down to $5 in the next hour and then quickly turn around, and you could ride the wave back up. So I would say with NVIDIA, because it is such a volatile stock, really looking closely at the charts
For this one is you can make so much money with this stock just by riding the ups and downs all day long as these charts say.
Absolutely. So as we step down to the 1 hour chart, we see confirmation on that sell, just another crossover to the downside. The 15-minute crossover to the downside. So the shorter time frames are showing down. So what I would do is the 5-minute is showing buy. So we see a break in alignment, right? The 5-minute crossover to the 3-minute crossover to the downside. So the 1 minute and the 5-minute are currently showing buy. So what I would do is patiently wait until the 1 minute and 5-minute give me a sell signal and cross over to the downside. And then I would get into this trade and look to scalp for today. I will look to get into this for a day trade, because again, the days and weeks longer on NVIDIA are bullish. But if I were looking to capture some gains on this short-term reversal, the 2 hour is showing sell of a crossover for the VWAP and the EMA, and showing potentially getting ready to go down to the downside of this other EMA. So I would wait for the confirmation. So there is potential sell side opportunity, and I would patiently wait for the sell signal on the 1 hour or 2 hour, and then I would wait. Once I get that sell signal, I would wait for the 1 minute and or 5-minute to give me that sell side signal confirmation for that entry, and then I would enter into that. I would not hold this trade longer than 4 p.m. today. I would get out around the close, because longer term NVIDIA shows up, get in, get my money today, come back tomorrow and see what the charts are saying. Okay?
It's already hit a high of like $601 today.
Yes.
So just definitely keep that in mind for sure.
Yes. So Wall Street Academy is our new joint course. If you are coming from Money School or you're coming from Wealth Demystified, you will talk to us respectively to get into those programs. The new joint Discord community is called Money Matrix. So scan the QR code or click the link down there. Join the Money Matrix Discord. It's live right now. It's free. You're going to be around there amongst our communities, talking amongst each other. We have our weekly challenges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Scan the QR code, join the community. You're going to love it. And as far as our new courses, it's called Wall Street Academy. And it includes stock investing. It includes stock swing trading, stock day trading. It includes futures swing trading, futures day trading, forex swing trading, forex day trading, crypto investing, crypto swing trading, crypto day trading, how to build a portfolio, and also options, leaps, options swing trading, and options for daily income. Okay, so all of that is packed into Wall Street Academy, and we're just starting to release it to the community. Okay, so very, very excited about that. And tomorrow we have our first lesson of the Wall Street Academy tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So shout out to everybody that's already in the Wall Street Academy. Feel free to click on those links and join the Discord for Money Matrix completely free. And then if you want to join the Wall Street Academy, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, let's look at our Riot trade, and then we'll go back. We're down 27 bucks, and then we will look at, what was the other trade we got in? Tesla.
Yeah, really quickly, just because we just
Okay,
heard
down
a sell signal.
Okay, where?
On SoFi, and I think it's Dante. Is it Dante?
Dante. Okay, what up, Dante?
If you trade SoFi, you can definitely talk about that. But I did go and take a quick look at it.
Okay, go ahead. So we'll go to Dominique's charts for SoFi.
The 2-hour chart literally just got a sell signal, so that's why I wanted to point that out. Looks like that sell signal came out around 10 a.m. SoFi is a company, actually, I've done actually a few brand partnerships with them, to be transparent, but it has been interesting to see that SoFi, to me, has
not
not
gone a lot higher as far as its market cap over the past couple of years since it has IPO'd. But right now, everything is really trending down. We're getting trying to get a crossover here on the 1-minute chart, on the 3-minute chart. It's selling lots of selling pressure, and also on the 5-minute chart as well. As I mentioned, we just got the also 5-minute chart is also, so we also just got the sell signal on the 2-hour chart. So SoFi is only down 5 cents today. This is another stock that just does not have a lot of volatility. It may move 5 cents, it may move 10 cents,
but you don't really see it do, to me, lots of large runs up and run down. So I know me personally, I'll sometimes do calls or puts or do options on SoFi. But as far as like day trading, a lot of times it just doesn't move enough for me to be worth the time, honestly, a lot of times. But I do think it has some good upside potential. But like I said, even now you could get into a sell side trade, but it may only fall 20 cents. It may only fall 10 cents just because it just doesn't move a lot. What are your thoughts on SoFi?
Yeah, let me go over here and check the SoFi chart and give you my thoughts. Okay, so SoFi, I don't personally trade SoFi, but
and their price target just got lowered too. I just saw.
Okay.
Yeah, $12.
But no matter what instrument or asset I'm looking at, if somebody asks me about it, I'm going to follow the same principles of technical analysis that we teach, and it serves across all the asset classes, right? So if I'm looking to invest, I'm going to start at the 1-month chart, and I'm going to see how this stock has performed over time. So if I start at the 1-month chart of SoFi, okay, I can see SoFi went public in November of 2020. Okay, it went public around $10 a share, and it got up to about $28 a share. And it came in February of 2021, and it consolidated for about a year. And then in November or December of 2021, it's got a sales signal, and it's been trending down for the last year and a half. Okay, it got some quality support around $4 a share. All right, it got hit a little bit when all of that banking, news and crisis and scare came into the market over the last year or so. So I know it got hurt about that. Some quality support around the $4 a share mark. So what this would tell me is if you are looking for some financials in your portfolio and you're looking for some newer financials versus the, old heads like JP Morgan or Citi or Wells Fargo and stuff like that, and you want to add maybe a newer financial, this is something that you could consider. Personally, I like to stick with, when I talk about investing, I like to stick to blue chip stocks and or dividend kings and stuff like that, and we'll get into that more in Wall Street Academy. So I personally would not look to invest in SoFi right now. It needs to be a little bit more proven. However, if you are thinking about information that you may have from a fundamental standpoint or a technical standpoint, and you say, hey, I believe in SoFi for the bigger picture long term, then I think this is a quality entry point based off what the data is showing me, because its all-time high is around 28 bucks. It's currently trading at about $8 a share. It is right at the VWAP, and we did just get a crossover in November. So it would be a good opportunity for a entry point for a long-term hold. So if anything, I could probably get option leaps on this for cheaper than I would on the stock. Because if the stock is trading at about $8, I could probably get the leaps on it for pennies, and I could literally get the same directional bias trade and make 10 to 100 times more off the option.
I will say I did buy some leaps on SoFi maybe a year or so ago, and they did not do well at all.
Well, yeah, that's because and the monthly chart shows it
went down, but it also, I was bullish on SoFi because I know also going back to like the fundamental analysis, all of the areas that they were crossing into with the mortgages and the banking, and now they have the financial planning. They also had added in crypto. I think they just cut their crypto arm as well. But yeah, it's just been trending down. Honestly, I think over time I think it will go up, but I feel like it's probably gonna fall even further. It might even get down to $2-3 a share. Because their profits just haven't been great. I don't know if they're expanding too fast, but their profits just haven't been great.
Yeah, so like I said from the beginning, with my analysis, I personally wouldn't trade it. Trading and investing is personal, but once I went to the 1 month and I seen how it's performing since its IPO, it's been in a downtrend. It hasn't really been able to break up and show me any technical reason for some entries in here. And then the fundamentals that she just talked about, I personally wouldn't hop in. If you know more information than we are and there's a reason that you're bullish on it and you're looking long term, it is okay right here at the VWAP for a 5-year, 10-year play. But yeah, I personally wouldn't invest into it now based off of my analysis. Okay. So hopefully that gives you some insight. Again, trading investors personal, make your own decisions. But that would be what I would look at based off of my analysis. As right now for me, it would be a hard pass on SoFi. The financials that we do have in our watch list are JP Morgan. So if you do want to look at if you want to look at some finance, we could look at JPM, right? And BlackRock is also finance. So if I pull up JP Morgan, right, and we look at a comparative analysis of what we just looked at on SoFi, I look at JP Morgan. First of all, it's been around for decades. It has survived some dips and some turbulent times. It's been around for a long time. Me personally, if JP Morgan goes down, the United States economy goes down. JP Morgan is intertwined in every single thing on Wall Street and in the government. And I like to put my money and my investments for long term in stuff that is somewhat too big to fail, too hard to fail, or there are some government reasons why it won't fail. Like when the stock market crashed and when the banks crashed and stuff like that, the government were bailing out the big companies and the big banks and the big boys with money. And that's what I want to see for my long-term investment. I want to see.
And JP Morgan has also bought a lot of the banks that were also failing.
Absolutely.
Last year. They also had their earnings Friday, January the 12th, so a couple weeks ago, and they did really well with their earnings.
Amazing revenue. They reported they were up about $5 a share. So JP Morgan is just the GOAT, honestly, when it comes to this whole banking thing.
Yeah. So I bigger picture, long term. JP Morgan is in my long-term investment portfolio. It's in my 2024 stock pick of the year for financials. And I can see on the month it crossed over November.
We're also private clients there too.
22, you're right. And yeah, full disclosure, we are JP Morgan private clients. So we got a lot of money with them, But on the month chart, crossed over in November and it's been bullish, right? So on the algos, it crossed up at $126 in November and it's 169, right? So a $40 jump off of that. On the week, we got a strong buy signal in November 6th, and that was at 143, and again, up $40 from there. So my financial pick, and that's the reason that I picked it as my financial pick for 2024 on the finance side and the banking side, and then BlackRock, again, if BlackRock goes down, the world economy goes down. Do research on BlackRock. BlackRock owns damn near 75% high equity stakes in over 75% of the S&P 500 and almost 30% of the top stocks and equities on the planet, right? So I when we're talking about investing, like I will trade short term anything that meets my risk parameters. But when we're talking about investing and buying and holding and things that you're doing for your retirement accounts and things that you're looking to pass down for generational wealth, I want to know I can go to sleep at night that the only way that this thing potentially goes down outside of the technicals, outside of the fundamentals, is that literally the world economy crashes. And at that point, then there's really nothing you could do anyway,
Yeah.
right? So that would be my approach is I'm investing for generational wealth in the bigger picture long term, and I'm trading for short term, daily, weekly, monthly income. Okay. So yes, as we come to the final 10 minutes of the session, we could check out, we got out of that buy side trade for a profit on the NASDAQ. We're now in the sell side. We are currently up $387 on the short side of the ES. So congratulations if you are in that trade. And that may serve as, we might get one more trade before the 11 o'clock as we wind down, but we shall see.
Yeah, and please, everyone, make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button.
Yes.
Down below so that you guys are alerted every morning when we go live. And please share this information and share this channel with your family and your friends so they can come and learn all this information and see all the different ways that they can, play around in the markets and make some money.
Absolutely. Yeah. So subscribe here to the YouTube channel.
Yep.
You can grab that link and share it with a friend. Join the Money Matrix Discord channel. You can scan the QR code that was up there.
Free to join the
100% free to join that. And then also, if you guys want to learn the actual fundamentals and principles of what we're actually doing here, and you can see how we made, $1,000 in the first literally minute of the NASDAQ this morning, a couple of runs on the NASDAQ itself, and now in a quality run on the ES up $500. We actually teach step-by-step tutorials and principles on how to do that into the Wall Street Academy. Dante says, great stuff. Always nice to see. Thanks for the growth, or for the growth. Thank you for the information. Yeah, our pleasure, man. We'll be doing this Monday to Friday live. So please come. We just entered into a sales side signal on the NASDAQ, and we're up $130 on that. But, feel free to come in here with things that you want to put into your investment portfolio, that you want analyzed by us live here in real time, because that is what we are doing. We're going to cover financial news that's going on in the global markets, right? These headlines, because also growing up where I come from on the south side of Chicago, we didn't talk about this in my house. We didn't talk about this in our communities, and I wasn't exposed to it until later in life. And so one of the main things that kind of puts fear in our communities or people who are new to these is because the words that may be used or the language that may be used, or it sounds like a totally different world. So we may use that as a reason or as an excuse not to get into these markets. So we do have a glossary in the Wall Street Academy, but just listening to us break these things down and give us insight and asking these questions in the comments, right? No question is too big, too small, too smart, too dumb. We're here to learn. We're here to earn, make some money, and then you can return those things to your community and your family. And that's really what it's about. So exposure is so important and so key. And if you can start as early as you can with your friends and your family members, they are going to, one, benefit from it, and then two, be light years beyond where your starting point was.
They say exposure to the real and that she hate lane.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's what I had to do for my wife, Yeah, so any final questions coming up on these last 10 minutes of the markets? Feel free to drop them in there. Maybe we get one more analysis in there. We're up now over $500 on the ES trade, and up over $200 now on the NASDAQ trade. So quality trade there, and looking to capture some gains. It looked like we did get on that sales side on the oil and capture some profit on that already, okay? Any questions, comments, or thoughts, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you are in some of these trades or made some money off some of these trades that we have done, drop how much you made in the chat or drop some dollar signs if you made some money during today's session. And if you're already in the communities, you could drop your screenshots in the Discord so we could celebrate the wins with you.
We also just got a
Yep.
we also just got a buy signal, just FYI, that came through in the 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute chart in the video. So it is starting to kind of turn around. So just FYI before we.
All right. So now it's 10:55 and we have our segment of keeping it a buck. Dominique, you got anything you want to say for the keeping it a buck segment?
No, actually I don't. I wasn't prepared for the keeping it a buck.
All right. So I will.
What you got? What
Yeah.
you like to?
All right. Go ahead.
Yesterday was my birthday, and I just want to honestly just say thank you to all of you for all the love that you shared, and it really just meant a lot to have the notifications coming from all over the internet, which can be a little overwhelming, but it also is just so beautiful to feel love. So I just want to say thank you again to all of you guys for the amazing just outpouring of love for my birthday. And shout out again to my husband for making my birthday just absolutely amazing. So, I think in life, we're all trying to make this money, which is very, very important. But, being able to have quality relationships and quality friendships is honestly probably one of the most important things to me. And I think a lot of times, yes, we celebrate people year round, but also, on your birthday, you really get to see those people who show up for you, and also all the lives that you've impacted, and they want to, kind of show you that love and support back on your special day. So please make sure that, yes, we're getting to the bag, but that we're also still developing those quality relationships, because life is really all about, like, how did you make people feel, right? And that's what they're going to say when that time comes, which will come for all of us. How did Dominique make me feel? How did Dion make me feel? And so just want to, keep that a buck.
Hey, I like it. I like it. So Dante said he made 337 bucks on the ES. Congrats, Dante. Kev on the charts put $5 sign. He said he made on the NASDAQ sale. So congratulations to the winners in there. Feel free to drop it in the comments and in the Discord channel. So for me on the keeping it a buck today, I think the key for me is learning the principles of what we're doing, right? It can seem like a lot. It can seem like we're trading a lot and investing in a lot, and it can be overwhelming and maybe feel like you're drinking from a fire hose for the newbies. But what I will say is slow the game down, focus on learning what we are talking about. What is a stock? What is an option? What is a bond, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Learning the skills, the strategies, and the tools that we're giving you guys, because once you learn it, you can't unlearn it, right? And once you learn it, no one can take that away from you, and you have that exposure. And you will now have the ability to make money from wherever you are in the world as long as you have an internet connection. And I cannot express to you how powerful that is, right? Coming from the south side of Chicago, a single parent home, and where we didn't really talk about money, finances, trading, investing, life insurance, saving, budgeting, any of those things. If you learn now, you could take full responsibility and take control of your life and your financial future, and you can be responsible for that for yourself and dependent on yourself. So that would be my keep it a buck today, is slow the game down and learn the principles and take control of changing your own life.
Love that.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, congratulations on these wins as we wind down. Keep in tune with the YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and follow. Share it with your friends and family. We will be on here running it up every day, making these live trades and investments. Miss Deirdre says she made money with the algo on the NQ sale. Vanessa says thank you so much. A bunch of people are keep saying happy birthday as well. So keeping up with that. And we're going to get ready to wind down here. So our trades that we're currently in, sticking to the rules, we're still in the NASDAQ sale on the futures, still in the ES sale on the futures, and overall good day. We got into our day trades on Riot, so we will be looking to monitor that throughout the day. Because these are day trades, we will be looking to get out of these before 4 p.m. today, okay? Unless you were on the buy side, if you're on the stock, then you could potentially hold those for as long as you want to ride that ride. If you are on any buy side trades, we have our stop losses and take profits set in place, and we will review Tesla tomorrow. We're going to hold this overnight because this was a swing trade. Riot, I'm going to exit before 4 o'clock. Okay. Tesla, we're going to hold because this is a swing trade, and we will hold it until our stop loss is set, or we ride the ride up for as long as it pays us. All right. So love, light, peace, wealth, great health, and abundance to each of you guys. Congratulations. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
See you.